Hmm. Well, it's Wednesday, uh, September 14th, 2022. I don't really feel like talking, but I'm going to anyway. So, yeah, um, had another instance of confrontation at work today. An ongoing saga of drama, intrigue, and no, not really. Um, but it is kind of like a soap opera, and there are characters. Um, and apparently, like, I get, since I'm the one that seems to be incensed by it the greatest and provoked uh, um, by olfactory measures and visual cues, um, and just offended in general on principle. And this is the fourth time I have had to scold a fellow employee and make fun of them, make light of them, try to shame them into not vaping inside the meat cooler at work where all the product is. Um, just within the last month, after I'd already confronted uh, guilty parties, whom it's not my job to police or judge or convict or condemn. I'm just a guy that works there. Alongside them, they're my peers, not my friends. Um, but they fired a guy caught once because he was vaping, and he did it out on the main floor where cameras could see. So it was just like zero tolerance. You're gone. And so there was no patience or tolerance there. But these other guys, they're doing it inside the meat cooler. There are no cameras. And they think they are, well, I really can't speak for them, whether or not they think they're getting away with it or think that they are so smart for being so clever about hiding. Because apparently vaping is a lot more interesting and uh, necessary than job security or what coworkers are thinking about them, saying about them, um, when they're to their face and about them when they're not around, trying to figure out how to solve the problem. Because they create a situation where other people have to pick up their slack. Because while they're busy trying to do as little work as possible, instead of doing the work, they are busy trying to do as little work as possible. It takes a lot of effort to not do work. Whereas, like, to me, it's like, it's easier to just do the work, be thought well of, instead of like all that extra effort of trying to pass it on to the next person or leave it for the next person because there's no designate responsibility for when something gets done. It's like, well, anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. I could have done it, but nobody. I was busy. So everybody's just like, the culpability lies in between people. So, and there's a few people that just step up and do stuff, and they are the ones that are punished for being a good employee, being a good worker that shows initiative and doesn't have to be told what to do. They just see something that needs to get done and they do it. And they don't expect like unnatural praise for doing what they are supposed to be doing. They don't need to be thanked for doing what they're supposed to be doing. They just do it. And it's kind of like, I don't know, a job or something. But a lot of people, they just want to get paid. They don't want to actually work. That's dumb. Who works at their job? So, a few of us do. I consider myself one of them. I try. And I try to keep my head down, and I try not to make waves, and I try not to antagonize or get or draw attention to myself. But this behavior that I have been witnessing, I can't just sit back and say nothing. Um, it's been an ongoing thing. I've written about it a few times, going back a few months. I think I've spoken about it once here, kind of anonymously, kind of alluding to it. But it has been a frustration, because I don't like confrontation. I don't know how many people do, but I can say, and I will say, because I am doing it just about right now, that my immediate supervisor, who was guilty as well, he was the one that was, going along with it, and seemed to think it was okay because everybody seemed to be okay with it. He thought everybody was cool with it, because if somebody wasn't cool with it, they would say something. And so when I said something, he was like, "I thought everybody was cool with it." Well, if you ever, uh, have a problem with anything, please bring it to my attention. And it's like, I just did. And then I caught him again. I caught my supervisor vaping in the meat cooler with this other guy that I caught today again. Not like 2 weeks later, and he pretended he wasn't. And it's like, so are you saying, it's like, am I dumb? Are you saying I'm lying, or, uh, but his denial in the face of evidence, it's like, well, now I'm dealing with a liar. He can't even, uh, take credit for his action. He will deny and pretend and, project and attribute and assign, but he will not take ownership. And so it's like, I lost respect. It's like, no, I don't have any respect for you, dude. What little respect I had, which he was getting. I have a distance. And I was starting to be okay, but and then it's like, no. It's like, nah. But then he was starting to get it back again after about a month, just a little bit. But then I smelled that vape smoke in the cooler again. And I was kind of wondering if they were just kind of waiting for me to leave for the day before they would just go back to vaping as usual. And I think that Wednesday of last week, I think that's what they thought, or he thought, because I think it's the underling subordinate guy that, he is definitely still vaping. But it turns out that my immediate supervisor, he has since quit. And I'm going by what other people have told me. And I haven't directly sensed any anything off of my supervisor, like where I've been in the meat cooler, left, then he's been in there, and then I smell the vaping smoke. So I haven't detected that. So for all I know, and what I kind of want to believe, is that is true, that my supervisor has quit, or at least he's not doing it on property or inside the meat cooler. Whereas the other guy, who he was vaping with, and sort of like gave permission to, because it's like, well, if my boss is doing it, then it's okay. But now your boss is not doing it. You're still doing it. And it wasn't okay to begin with, and it's definitely not okay now. And the other guy got fired for it, for one trespass, one violation. And again, I am not the police. I don't like calling attention to it. I don't like having to make comments and check on the pulse of other people to make sure I'm not in the wrong. Because I feel like, me calling it out and signaling that there's something wrong, it's like, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm the bad guy. It's somehow my fault, or it's somehow my wrong for overreacting, or something like that. It's like, if there's some way for it to be my fault or my wrong, or for me to be bad in some way, it's like, I'll find a way. Or other people will find a way. It's like, well, why didn't you say something sooner? Or something like that. Well, it's like, well, this has been going on and you knew about it, and why didn't you, they were vaping around the meat, and somebody should have said something. It's like, I took it to the supervisor, but he was also doing it. And I caught both of them. It's like, God. And it's like, it feels like there'll be backlash, and I'll somehow get wrapped up into the backlash. And it's like, I like my job, and I think that's part of it too. It's like, people know that, you don't want to be the one that whistle blows, because the whistleblower, it's like, what's the first rule in assassination? Kill the assassin. Don't leave loose ends. So, it's frustrating. So, it's just a stupid job, and it's just stupid vaping, and people should just behave, I guess, and it's just frustrating, and how the people that work the hardest are the ones that are punished. But they don't want to say anything either. They witness it too. I'm not the only one, and I checked with a few of them today, and it's been going on. I'm just noticing it again, and I checked on them to get their personal opinion, and everybody agrees that something needs to be done, but no one wants to do anything. Like as far as like taking it to management, because there will be questions, and it's like no one has time or the energy or the desire to, raise their chin up above, to possibly, say the wrong thing, or, I don't know. Who knows who is protected and who has friends and allies among the upper echelons of Kroger management. As though it matters. But that's my story. I have other stories, but those are still in progress, and I don't really have anything to say about it. Nothing new. I'm kind of taking a break from social media. It's like I just don't have the energy at this time to continue to flail about in ignorance and impotence of not knowing and being uncertain about the reality of the situation, if there is a situation, if I'm supposed to be doing something, if I'm not supposed to be doing something, if I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. It's like I'm just kind of tired of it being like a game, and it's an anonymous game, and I don't know exactly what the rules are, and I'm not sure of, it's not fun. It's fun at times when I think a certain way, but a lot of times I'm just, I'm too hurt by this and that, of other things going on at the same time, and confusion about this and that, and unresolved issues about this and that, and there's a cumulative effect, an aggregate effect, and it piles up, and I just get stressed out, overwhelmed, and I just don't want to play anymore. It's not attractive. It's not welcoming. It's highly frustrating and confusing, and maybe I am being too sensitive, or maybe I am, taking it too seriously. How should I take it? The only way to take it is to not take it and just stop reading. Stop contributing. Stop participating. Stop reading. Because if I stop reading, then I can stop reading it wrong. Because I have failed to interpret and read it right. I only read it wrong. And I don't know what any of it means. I don't process it correctly. I take it badly. Because I figure the audience is some unknown party or some past party And I don't understand the history or the cultural syntax or cultural context. Um, and yeah, and I have no ability to ask questions for clarification or elaboration. Um, it's all left playfully as mystery, and it's very cryptic and mystic and like a soliloquy and rhetorical questions and metaphorical and symbology and allegory and yeah, and I just don't understand. And then there's the other people that are watching as well, and they have their own inputs and their own thought patterns, and there's more than one that think that they are involved. Um, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I tend to be wrong. I thought I was right, but I think I'm wrong. I know I'm still right about how I feel, even though, yeah. I might not be right, but I cannot be wrong. But other people have thought that. Other people think that all the time and are disappointed and heartbroken when what they think was happening, what they think was going on, what they thought was real, turned out to be not. And my thought today, this morning, when I was roaming around the store, I had to record it. I have a few thoughts like this, but this one I really wanted to get down, amongst others. But the one I got down today was, I'm having the best day, or the worst day, or the first day, or the last day of the rest of my life. I just haven't decided yet. And I thought that was I liked it. And the other one, which is a follow-up, a postscript uh, to what I wrote yesterday, was about, as I could see how that could be interpreted kind of spookily, but I am having a much better go of it in this life, and I much prefer, if it is to be the way it is, I much prefer and am okay with, for the most part, being as a living ghost over being how I used to be, the Walking Dead. So there's that. Not really existing, not really living, just functioning badly, really badly, for a long time in a fog prison of no dreams, no aspirations, crumbling darkness, and no hope of it ever ending. And I wished for it to end, and it ended. Be careful what you wish for. Everything since then has been a reconstruction of a life. A different sort of life, but it is a life. I can't say what's going to happen. No one can. But I still like it better. I am glad for my wish, because my wish came true. And it just took a lot of work to keep it true. Because I can forsake my wish. I can toss it away. I can take it for granted. I can abuse it. And it's only woe is me, and the ownership is on me should that ever come to pass. let no one else ever take blame or fault or responsibility for my action or inaction. These are my choices, my decisions, my consequences. And I will benefit from, learn from, suffer from, endure from, and grow from all of these trials, and see what results, see what happens on the next page. Turn the page. I don't know if it'll be any better on that page either, but if you flip, you'll see that there's writing on the future pages. Just don't read it yet. Just take it one day at a time. Don't read ahead, and don't skip to the ending. I don't want to know. I hope it's a long way away, with lots of writing in between the now and the then. There's no guarantees about that, though. But I'm trying, and I'll do my best. No guarantees on happiness, but I can say that I'm happier now than I ever used to be. Nothing about that could be considered happy. I had moments of forgetting, but I am much freer now. And that's pretty scary sometimes, but if I have to deal with the world, then the world has to deal with me. And I don't think it's exactly an equitable exchange. I feel like I have to pick up the lion's share of the work. But if I keep a low profile and fly under the radar just well enough, the world leaves me alone. And I am able to eke out an existence and try not to disturb the waters, and don't follow the lights. So, anyway, I am tired. And I didn't go for a run today, so this is just getting it fresh and raw, unprocessed, unfiltered. Just improvisational. So, maybe it was too much. I don't know. It felt good. Anyway, that's it.